Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lions Den with another news and commentary. We know we're talking about social media, and and this is basically troubling. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bring this up real quick. Now, Facebook CEO, Facebook founder, Mark Zuckerberg, has a problem with presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren. Hmm. Before that, WhatsApp is owned by the British government, and then Twitter owned by the British government, right? So you look at Mark Zuckerberg, you know, he has a lot of stuff, always got stuff going on, and now he's worried about Elizabeth Warren. Now, I normally don't talk about the presidential candidates, including Elizabeth Warren, because none of those Democratic candidates um, supports reparations, right? None of them. None of the Democratic candidates refuse or supports reparations. However, when you got a Facebook founder and CEO like Mark Zuckerberg going after Elizabeth Warren, that seems very interesting. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this news clipping, and this is from RT. Rick Sanchez will explain why Mark Zuckerberg going after Elizabeth Warren. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this, and I'm gonna continue the rest of my commentary.
Last night, here on this newscast, we presented two unique reports about social media that most of you told us were troubling. One, that the stuff you put on WhatsApp may soon be accessible to the British government in an accord with a new treaty with the United States. Number two, this may be even more offensive. A Twitter executive is moonlighting as an intel officer for the British government. Hello? So with that as a backdrop, this incredible story regarding a third social media platform. In fact, this is the MacDaddy of all social media platforms. In a conversation that was recorded and then leaked, Mark Zuckerberg is heard speaking to his employees where he says the following controversial statements. One, that he's going to refuse to talk to any other governments about Facebook. Two, what to say to people who don't trust Facebook. And three, and this may be the most newsworthy, why he will fight an Elizabeth Warren candidacy. Elizabeth Warren? RT correspondent John Huddy picks up the story from here.
Mark Zuckerberg is ready for a fight. That is, if Elizabeth Warren becomes president anyway. Zuckerberg's off-the-record Q&A session at Facebook were leaked to the online site The Verge. And among some of the headline-making parts and sections is one having to do with his response about Warren's push to break up companies like Facebook, saying, quote, "You have someone like Elizabeth Warren who thinks that the right answer is to break up the companies. I mean, if she gets elected president, then I would bet that we will have a legal challenge, and I would bet that we will win the legal challenge. And does that still suck for us? Yeah." Zuckerberg goes on to say that he doesn't want to have to file a major lawsuit against the U.S. government, adding, "But look, at the end of the day, if someone's going to try to threaten something that existential, you go to the mat and you fight." This past March, Senator Warren put forth a plan to companies in the U.S., mainly Amazon, Google, Apple, and Facebook, saying that they're just too big and powerful. In response to Zuckerberg's comments, Senator Warren had this to say, tweeting, "What would really suck is if we don't fix a corrupt system that lets giant companies like Facebook engage in illegal anti-competitive practices, stomp on consumer privacy rights, and repeatedly fumble their responsibility to protect our democracy." Zuckerberg met with President Trump at the White House several weeks ago, discussing, among other things, his concerns about future internet regulation. It's a tense time, after all, for Facebook, with not only Senator Warren, but other lawmakers and officials calling for closer regulation and scrutiny of the company over privacy and censorship concerns. Facebook is also facing an antitrust investigation by the Federal Trade Commission that hit Facebook with a $5 billion fine over the company's privacy policies. Well, in response to the leak, Zuckerberg posted this message on his Facebook. "Every week I do a Q&A at Facebook where employees get to ask me anything, and I share openly what I'm thinking on all kinds of projects and issues. The transcript from one of my Q&As a few months ago just got published online, and be internal rather than public. Now that it's out there, you can check it out if you're interested in seeing an unfiltered version of what I'm thinking and telling employees on a bunch of topics like social responsibility, tech companies, Libra, neural computing interfaces, and doing the right thing over the long term. Whether or not Zuckerberg will indeed go to the mat to protect his company remains to be seen, but at least we got a little bit of a sneak glimpse into what Zuckerberg is thinking and some of the tech mogul's tough talk. For the News with Rick Sanchez, I'm John Huddy.
So you haven't heard that we're the ones covering the stories that you won't see covered anywhere else? Venezuela, Kazakhstan, let's go to Hong Kong. And the media reaction to that has been crickets. How about the way we cover those stories? What the hell does that mean? Huawei. That's the key word in this case, uprising. Can you believe that? Watch it. This is the right thing for members of the media to do, to actually pick sides. Look, if you like what you see, subscribe.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, here's what's so funny about this story, right? And we're talking about Facebook, and Mark Zuckerberg was worrying that Elizabeth Warren wants to break up the company. And now he said he did not want the Elizabeth Warren candidacy. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Facebook did censor a lot of stories on their platform. And they did, for example, look what happened to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He's been officially banned from Facebook because of hate. He was violating hate speech, right? And you see they're shutting down a lot of anti-black activists on Facebook as well, calling them hate, but you never see any white supremacists or any white supremacist groups been shut down or been, suspended or been kicked out of Facebook. You never saw that. So what makes this story so interesting is that you have Elizabeth Warren, um, even though she's the presidential candidate, she basically claiming that when she runs for president or when she wins the presidency, she's going to take down companies that violated people's rights, First Amendment rights, um, including Facebook. This is why Mark Zuckerberg is pissed off because he felt that, you try to take down my company and thinking that, I didn't break no laws. I didn't ban nobody off on Facebook. I didn't use Facebook jail, et cetera, et cetera. So this is why the fight is happening. And obviously now you got tech companies that trying to, do violated people's First Amendment rights, free speech, and Facebook is one of those people. Now you're talking about social media, and this is why and shout outs to RT Rick Sanchez for these stories, which he talks about WhatsApp, how the British, government is involved with. We want to talk or try to send pictures of WhatsApp that the British government knows about it because it's got spies in it, and also on Twitter as well. So that just because we send pictures or speak some stuff out, they know what we say. They see they know what we're writing. They know what we're saying on social media. So you see what is going on, that Mark Zuckerberg, the creator, the founder, the CEO of Facebook, do not like Elizabeth Warren. Let's keep it real. He said it on an audio. He said he don't like Elizabeth Warren as the presidential candidate because he fears that he's gonna get rid of Facebook. He's gonna break up the Facebook Facebook company. But after in the black community, like I said, even though Elizabeth Warren don't support reparations and everything, but it seems to me that Elizabeth Warren is saying that all this on Facebook, on social media, when we posted all the platforms, when we post stuff that's not even, right. For example, if we posted all the stories that concerns the black community, Facebook like to shut it down. And Elizabeth Warren started to see that. So this is why I said that this is important. Why Mark Zuckerberg is pissed, and because again they're violating their free speech. They're violating their First Amendment rights of posting stories that is important to people, and Facebook don't want them to see it. So leave a comment, tell me what you think, like, click, subscribe, and remember to click the notification bell for all the news and commentary. With that being said, this Lions didn't sign off. Deuces.